Hey, this is Sandy,
And Randy.
and we're here on AT Corner.
Being an athletic trainer comes with ups and downs, and we're here to showcase them all.
Join us as we share our world in sports medicine.
Welcome back to another episode of AT Corner, and this one is our spooktacular episode.
What, you aren't going to use the Halloween spirit joke that you
I
just...
honestly don't remember what that joke was.
You just told it to me like 30 seconds ago.
I just was really excited to do the
Okay, whatever.
I can't wait to hear that on playback and see how it sounds like.
Okay.
So I think we should let them know our big news, our new addition to the show.
I think that they can guess our big news if they're listening close enough.
I hope so.
You guys, we got new microphones.
And a whole new sound system thing going on.
We got the whole setup. We're professional.
We're upgraded. This is not a trick or a treat. Well, maybe a treat.
For
it's
us.
maybe a treat.
And for them, maybe.
I just was excited to use trick or treat. I'm killing it with the Halloween stuff. We should have dressed up.
Oh, you're right.
For our YouTube viewers, we should have dressed up.
Okay, guys. Anyway, this episode is about superstitions. Because you know we have them.
Or at least the athletes we work on have them.
And the athletic trainers.
Yeah, no, exactly. I'm just saying, if you're not a superstitious person, your athletes are for sure.
Oh, like all those athletes who go in and they wear
the same socks for game days or same clothes.
Yeah, and they have to get the same treatment and they have to listen to the same playlist.
Yeah.
So we have actually a superstar superstition. Do you see what I did there?
Ooh, that was good. That was super, actually.
Yeah. To start off our episode, and this one's from Mike S. He said, "I hope your audience enjoys the story of our penny." Hey,
Ooh.
I had a lucky penny, but not like this.
I was going to say, I feel like this penny's pretty lucky if there's a whole story behind it.
As a kid, if you found a penny, you had to put it in your left shoe.
Why the left shoe?
I'm not exactly sure why the left shoe, but it was good luck. And if you put it in the right shoe, it was bad luck.
I remember my mom always told me to put it in your shoe. We just weren't picky about the side.
If we didn't like someone and we wanted them to have bad luck, we would tell them to put their penny in the right shoe.
That's evil.
Hey.
That is evil.
It's only evil if you believe in it. So anyway, Mike says, "Here in York, South Carolina, we only have one high school, so the town, district, and fan base is very close-knit and faithful."
Nice. That's pretty
I know,
awesome.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. We don't get that a lot in California.
We've been known to play another team's homecoming, and our fans would outnumber the home teams. Whoa.
That's pretty cool.
Could you imagine that atmosphere?
Oh, I bet it's so fun to be there.
To prove this, check this out. The Friday we were to play our big rival, our head coach had been feeling terrible all day. He was always a pain in the neck on game day.
Of course.
So we didn't pay him any attention. During the game, late second quarter, he tells me he's not feeling well and his chest hurt. Oh, that's not good.
Anytime you hear coach saying that, that's a problem.
The man refused to leave the sideline. Well, duh. I mean,
it's game day.
This kept up during halftime, and he still wouldn't leave. Finally, in the third quarter, we're winning by a couple points. And I've been in his ear telling him, "You need to go now. No more fooling around." He says to me, "Okay, let's score this touchdown, and then I'll go." He refused to go to the emergency department until we had scored and put some more points on the board.
Well, of course, that's the most important thing of the day.
I know.
Not the, the possible heart attack that might be happening. No, it's the points on the board.
My chest pain is because we're not getting points on the board.
Duh.
So here in York, we have the penny.
Oh, here it comes.
Before a big playoff game, an assistant coach, our film guy, and I found a penny heads up one night prior to the game. Do you believe in heads up tales?
I personally don't, but I've known many people that say it has to be heads up to be good luck.
So this one, I think that's a thing. Heads up is...
That's what I hear.
We jokingly decided that it was a good luck omen. And this is how they all start.
Of course.
And decided to place it under the goalpost pad nearest to our dressing room for good luck.
See, it's all fun and games until the thing actually works. Then it's like, okay, this is serious.
Until you start winning.
Yes.
Right? Our team always came to the field on the right side of the goal, so that's where we put it. We did in fact win the game, which is a big upset, so we made a beeline for the penny and saved it. Our film guy kept it for safekeeping. That's a big job.
That is a big job.
You just found a game-winning penny and now...
You got protected with your life.
We used it the following week and won again. We then decided that its mystical powers would be reserved for only the most important games where it may be needed most. Even a playoff game might not be deemed worthy if we felt we'd win without any help.
This criteria is very strict. I mean, not even a playoff game may not be worthy.
Our film guy would take it home for safekeeping and put it in a padded jewelry ring box.
You got to make sure the penny is comfortable.
I know, man. We would even have a board meeting on Thursdays after our walkthrough to decide if the game was penny-worthy.
This is intense. I love it.
Okay, but get this. The penny is undefeated to this day.
That's wild.
Although we're all three retired now, so is the penny.
But I bet there's still some luck in that penny.
Oh, it's undefeated.
For sure.
I want to know if it's still kept in the padded box. It has to be.
It has to be, and it has to be in like a glass case with like nice lighting over it. Like, that's intense.
Yeah, that's a penny that's worth more than a cent. See what I
did? Ooh,
there?
that was pretty good. That was pretty good.
A priceless penny.
Does Mike have another one for us?
Oh yeah, he said, one other superstition that I followed for years was to check the headphones prior to kickoff. These are the old wired headsets with one for the head coach and one for the defensive coordinator. I always checked the offensive headset, and I only handed that one to the head coach. I didn't allow anyone else to do it. Later on, we got nice wireless walkies, and I still took care of the offense's radio.
You gotta keep it going, even if technology's different.
Hey, it's all about routine.
Exactly.
We don't get much of that in athletic training.
No, so much uncertainty day to day.
So anyway, I thought that penny was a great way to kick off our show.
Ooh, kickoff football. I like it. That was good.
I feel like there are so many...
You are crushing it today.
There are so many accidental puns. I mean...
Are they accidental, though? Are they really?
Intended puns.
Very punny.
Okay, you want to hear more superstitions?
Oh, yeah.
So you actually go ahead and read this one from Brittany.
All right, so this one's from Brittany B. My superstition in football. I was only allowed to wear a side braid, as the one time I wore two braids, our quarterback was taken to the hospital. Ooh.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's definitely abandoning the two braid on that one.
Well, okay, here's the thing about that. If you wear two braids again after that day your quarterback went to the hospital, like, even if you don't believe in superstitions, like, come on. You're just jinxing yourself.
Yep, and that's why we went with the single side braid. As you can tell, I'm very good with hair, and I hope the lingo is correct. Brittany also had to say the assistant coach would always make her wear his hat during warm-ups over her hat. That one is interesting to me.
I want to know, because, like,
I want more context.
It's hot during football season.
Yes.
Well, at least in the beginning of it. I want to know if she had to wear two hats when it was hot, because that sounds like death.
I mean, positive, depending on what level of football. It may be Friday night. That's a little chillier.
Oh, yeah. I remember one time my hands were so freezing at a football game last season. I, like, almost bought a hand warmer because, like, I literally couldn't. I was like, please do not go down with a knee injury. I don't think that my fingers can...
There's nothing worse than working in the cold. We're getting a little off track from the superstitions, but I do have to say, adjusting for weather is tough, especially in track and field. When you get to a meet at 8 a.m. and then you're still at the meet 8 p.m., you go from cold, hot, and then cold. It's intense.
That's very true. So, actually, that's funny. I know we're going off topic, but it kind of segues into the next superstition because Meaghan B says, I always wear the same clothes on game day for the whole season, like underwear and all. It's always been one of those things that doesn't start as a thing. I have my game day clothes, and then we near the postseason, and I realize it's totally become a thing every year.
I could see that happening. I know, like, when it was game day, we'd always make sure we had to pick our perfect attire. Because we had to look good. I mean, it's game day. So I could see how that become a thing where like, oh, for the big game, you're going to look really cool. And then you win. And then you're like, oh, well, the next game, we got to look really cool. And we'll black out that day or like something.
Well, this is what I was talking about, like the segue thing. I feel like we get such a drastic change, especially from like preseason scrimmages to like end of the season, like playoff games.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can't wear the same thing. At least I can't, because I am like, we're in California and I'm a wimp when it comes to the cold. And I would wear snow jackets on the sideline, but I can't do that in August.
No, you can't. No, you can't.
So David T said his superstition is that everything happens in threes.
Ooh, intriguing.
So I was like, wait, I need examples of this. And he says, during my time as a student, I was able to work with a school baseball team. My preceptor is the one that made me believe this more than anything. We had 3 guys have some injuries occur all within the same weekend. Unfortunately, due to other obligations, I was unable to be present when they happened. Oh, that sucks.
That is such a bummer.
I just remember showing up the following Monday and being told what happened. Ever since that, I've noticed that injuries do tend to happen in threes.
I'm going to keep an eye out. That is very interesting.
You know, they always say, I feel like that happens with like death. Like death happens in threes.
This show got dark.
I know. I feel like that's like the second time it's a death already in the show.
Way to keep the atmosphere light.
Okay, so injuries are not much lighter.
We did say this is a spooky episode.
I think spooky and dark are not necessarily the same thing. So anyway, Matt F. said he used to eat at the same places the week of football games if we were winning. When I was a GA, it was local restaurants. We would change restaurants if we lost football the week before. As a staff, we would go out to eat on home game days prior to the game. Burger King was the place. But if we lost the week before, you couldn't eat the same thing. When I was at high school, I kept that transition. Chipotle was always good.
Nice. That's awesome.
So I really like that he said that, like, he would eat at a place and then if that didn't work, they'd change the place because, and Haley actually sent this in, when I was interning with Haley, we used to do lifesavers, or I guess she still does it.
Yes,
lifesavers.
I remember this.
Before the game, you always eat a lifesaver before the game, and let me remember, because I tried to keep the tradition on, but I'm so bad at remembering. So I always have them in my kit, but I just sometimes forget. So I'm not 100%. I'm probably like an 80% lifesaver before games. I don't think Haley knows that. Haley, I'm keeping up your your tradition 80%.
I'm sure she's proud.
So anyway, so you have, they're like not the gummy lifesavers, they're like the mint, like the hard lifesavers.
Yeah.
So you have to eat it before the game. And so we would always start out with like one flavor. Mint was my favorite. And you can't chew it because if you chew it, it's a broken bone.
Okay.
And
so you definitely can't be the person to chew your lifesaver.
No, you can't chew your lifesaver. And if someone gets hurt, like significantly injured that game, you have to change your flavor.
Oh, okay. I didn't know the flavor part.
And I remember we changed to the orange flavor, and I was just not as excited for them anymore. I really like the mint ones.
That's pretty funny.
We got another one about food, actually.
I feel like a lot of superstitions can revolve around food.
You want to read this one from Steve?
Yes, so this one's from Steve C. The interns and I in the NFL would chug a point blank right before games started. It is a strong espresso coffee. It does not taste good. You just have to chug it. I think the whole group of interns started it collectively.
Honestly, if one single person started it and it didn't taste good, I feel like everyone would hate that person.
Oh, yeah, big time. Steve went on to say, I continued when I went to my GA ship, but instead of point blank, I chugged Phil's coffee.
See, there's a common theme. When people change jobs, they keep their tradition.
They find a way to keep it going.
Oh, sorry, superstitions. I feel like that's
Or-
kind of interchangeable.
Yeah, I think that's, yeah.
A superstition that becomes a
A
tradition.
tradition. And then you pass that on to students that you have under you, and it just keeps going.
Yeah, I really tried to, especially like right after Haley's, the next football season.
Well, now that you keep talking about it, I feel like you will.
Mhm.
You'll remember this.
I have a whole bag of them.
I remember we had to find them. We looked
I know
everywhere.
We, honestly, like before my first football game alone, we were like searching high and low for them.
Yeah, I remember that.
Okay, here's another one from Amanda M. I never take the bus to finals. They only won if I drive myself. It started with girls volleyball. I would travel with them for semifinals and finals. 2 years in a row, they lost in the finals. It was a long bus ride home.
Oh, those are the worst.
I know, that sucks. The next year, girls soccer made it to the finals, but due to a personal commitment, I had to meet them at the field. Then, they won the state championship.
Okay.
The following year, girls soccer made it to finals again. This time, I took the bus and they ended up losing. So now, I will take the bus for any other round except for the finals.
That's pretty funny.
I know, especially when you start to notice that, like, such far apart.
Yeah, then you start that reminds me. You have quite the streak.
The playoff streak.
Quite the playoff streak yourself.
I do. I was wondering if I should tell it in this episode.
I think we should.
Okay, so you guys, I don't know that it's been a while since I've told this story, so I have to. So my very first, I guess as an observation student, it starts as an observation student. So when I started to work with the football team, we were making the schedule and there was a mix up with my email, so I ended up working basketball instead, which is fine. I loved basketball. But so I was working with football in the summer and then I switched, and then football for the first time ever ended up going to playoffs. And so, I mean, of course, I'm just an observation student, so it doesn't matter at that point.
And
right?
we haven't noticed it yet, right? It's just, oh, it's a coincidence.
And honestly, I didn't really know what that meant. Like, I wasn't that into it at that time, you know? So then the next 2 years, I was thinking like, oh, it would be so cool if we got to go to the playoffs, but we didn't either time. So then this is now I'm an athletic training student, and I go and I become an athletic training student with Haley at the high school. And
now this high school that you guys are at is traditionally pretty good.
Yeah, so Haley told me, she was like, okay, like expect to not go anywhere for Thanksgiving, like stay local because we usually play through Thanksgiving. So I was like, okay, cool.
And then what happened?
We didn't make it.
Well, I was going to say, you made it to the playoffs.
We made it to the playoffs, but we didn't get to the point that we normally would, or like what would be expected, like further on, right? But this same year, the football team that I used to do observation hours with went to playoffs again.
Like for
when I'm not there.
One of the first time, right? Like
for their
it was
second time ever. So then I was like, oh, okay. You know, when I'm not there, they go to playoffs. So then the next season, then I go into basketball. And this is at a community college, and
which is pretty good most of the time.
Really good most of the time. But there was this thing where like the coach was going to leave, and long story short, normally we get way further in playoffs, and I don't even know if we made it to playoffs that year.
I think if you did, I think you lost in the first round, I think.
Okay, so basically like I have this bad luck streak already, right?
Okay. She keeps talking about it as a bad luck streak, and I keep trying to encourage her that, oh, I'll let you keep going. I don't want to spoil it.
There's another one.
Yeah, there's more.
So then I get to finally work with Chapman football as an athletic training student. They've been to playoffs twice. And guess what? They don't go to play. They literally have one of their worst seasons when I come back to be an athletic training student. So at this point, I'm like, okay, like I think it's me. What's the common denominator here?
No, here's my thing. Though that happened when you're a student. You're certified now, so that's totally different now.
I got certified. I started working with a football team. They were 3-0 before I started working with them. I joined. The next 3 games, they lost.
that one
So
was a
now
coincidence.
They're 3-3.
That's a coincidence.
They ended up losing more games than they won that season. I think it's me.
It's not you. It's not you.
You know what? Maybe I shouldn't put this on the air because whatever football I'm going to work with in the future is probably going to be like, we do not want you.
Going through this episode just reminded me that you think you're the bad luck charm.
Yeah, that's a superstition.
It's a lot of coincidences.
Maybe I should take a hint from some of these people.
I think you need to find a penny, eat at a different place, and chug coffee.
And not take the bus. And this one from Lauren B is about gum.
Ooh, let's hear that one.
I give my assistant...
That was a good transition.
I give my assistant soccer coach a piece of gum before every game, and I also have one. One game I didn't, and it was 0-0 at halftime. And then we scored 4 goals and won.
Oh.
It started as a joke with my current soccer coach. See, they all start as a joke.
It always is a joke.
As he came to my office every day asking for gum, and it led into a must-needed thing for games. To where each season we use a flavor, and based off that season, we use it again or not. See, I told you It's a thing. So I asked her, like, what happens if you don't have gum? And she was like, funny you ask. Back in 2008, at another school, the football coach asked me for gum before a game. This is the second game of the season, lost the first game, and coaches got wind that I had gum and all got some, which is Trident orange flavor, by the way.
Ooh, interesting.
We won, so next week I brought some more. And through the whole season and playoffs.
Nice.
We got to state finals and I forgot it. So they made me go across the street before the buses left to go to the gas station and, well, they won the state championship.
You see, yeah, that's dedication. That is dedication.
And see, how can you say that's not the gum?
That's true. That is true.
Really, though. How can you say that I'm not the bad luck charm?
You are not the bad luck charm.
I don't know. When I first got certified, I had like...
that one. It was a fluke. You watch the next place, championship. You watch. See, supportive husband.
Okay.
Right here.
So Randy, now we get to get into your.
Not even addressing that. Just gonna keep rolling through.
So, Randy, now we get to get into your things you can't say.
Oh, yeah. We all know what you can't say.
So, Kiera K said, if anyone even says the word overtime, we will inevitably end up in overtime.
Oh, that's rough. That's a rough life.
Oh, no. You can't even, like, think about overtime. Honestly. That's like... Okay, we have another one like this, actually. Jason M. said, never start getting my stuff together to leave till the clock says 0.
Oh, yes, that's totally Murphy's Law. You cannot, like you could start packing things up to make it organized, but you never put down the table. You keep bad boy up, and you make sure stuff is accessible.
Yep.
Because the minute it's gone is the minute you're going to need it.
Yep. Well, didn't we have a story about that? Like, the ambulance left... And then they end up needing it, like, after the game. Yeah, we did.
This sounds familiar. I forgot.
I think it was the one with the respiratory therapist.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Where they passed out.
Yeah. See? There are more. We have more forbidden words from Yusuke.
This is from my guy, Yusuke.
He says you can't say calm, quiet, slow, not busy, or bored. Do not say these or it will go downhill.
Yeah, that's so true. It goes back, same thing. Like, baseball athletic trainers know this. You do not talk about the weather. The minute you talk about the weather, rain delay. You do not talk about the pace of play.
I never thought about the weather because honestly, football will play through basically whatever.
Not baseball. And the minute you talk about pace of play, guess what? You're in like a 15-inning thriller and you're like, why did I say something?
You know what? Working with performing arts, I actually did have a show that was weather dependent.
Ooh, interesting. Was it outside?
Yeah, it was an outdoor theater, and Actually, the stage also changed sometimes based on like weather, and it would change like the shoes and like how like slippery it was or whatever, and or how tacky it was, and it would also change like some of their biomechanics that they had to do to perform some. And it was like there were some kind of like gymnastics, like acrobatic type moves, not
nice.
not like cirque or anything,
Yeah.
but definitely like with their props, there was it definitely changed their body.
Oh, interesting.
Movements. So anyway, Nicolette said, I used to only stand in a certain place for baseball games, and we would only win when I would stand there. I would stay there then the whole game. It was a deadly zone with baseballs flying my way.
Of course it was. That's another thing that's just it cracks me up is the like in the dugout, if things are going good, you do not move. You do not move from your spot. You stay there. And then the minute like something bad happens, like, okay, I can move.
Really?
Yes, that is a thing.
I've never ever heard of this.
Yep, you sit in the same spot, and then like if everything's going well, you stay there, and then all of a sudden one guy strikes out. I'm like, all right, cool, I gotta move.
Honestly, I don't work like baseball or softball that often, but when I did work softball a little bit, pretty much all I remember was that we would just pretty much eat chocolate the whole time.
Oh my goodness, I want to be in that dugout.
You should ask Mike about it.
I will. Mike, you'll be hearing from me.
Okay, so this one's from Ollie B, and this one is something that you do too.
Yes, it is.
She said, I do a prayer, cross signal included, at the beginning of every game or event.
Yes, I do the same thing.
And you do it before my games.
I do it before your games as well. As if I'm on the sidelines too.
You are on the sidelines.
Sometimes I am. But I am off the clock. I'm there as a fan of my wife.
Aww.
See, again, supportive husband award.
Okay, here's one. Actually, this one's anonymous.
Ooh.
Anonymous said, I tape the right ankle before I tape the left ankle.
Interesting.
Unless it's only getting one ankle taped. There's no reason behind this. It's just a habit since college. But if I happen to tape the wrong one, it feels like a weird tape job. And if I accidentally start the pre-wrap on the left, I'll stop and do pre-wrap on the right and then go back to the left.
Okay. I can kind of see how this became a thing. I feel like the right ankle is a little easier to tape than the left.
Which one do you do first if you're doing both?
Well, I don't know. I've never looked at this before. I'm probably the right now.
Honestly, I don't know.
I don't know. Like I can't think of it off the top of my head. I mean, there's not a lot of times I have to tape two ankles.
Also, do you do pre-wrap?
Oh yeah, I'm a pre-wrap guy.
What?
Have you not seen my legs? I totally get why people need the pre-wrap.
You don't make them shave their ankles?
No.
Really?
Yeah.
And you're the research guy. Have you read
Okay, well, if we're going to be real technical, then we shouldn't even tape their ankles anyways.
What about placebo?
So you see?
There's definitely some...
Placebo is important, but I don't think the pre-wrap's going to be the difference.
I think that there's more than placebo in especially ankle tapes that are on the skin. They do provide some support.
They do. You're right. But I know the struggle of having hairy ankles.
And you don't make them shave it? I don't understand. Okay, why don't we do a gem from Jen?
Yes, gem from Jen.
This gem from Jen is insane. Randy, I'm going to scroll down so you can't read head. So she said, baseball season, game day. My guys were moving a little slowly that day, and like you do, you hear things. I've heard that they had been having a party the night before, and a bunch of them were probably hungover.
Of course.
All right, hand out ibuprofen, make sure these dummies drink enough water, and I'm good. Well, no. My first baseman comes into the training room and says that he needs something covered, and could I help him? I asked him what he needed covered. He drops his pants.
No. No way.
To reveal a tattoo of a bulldog face with the phrase straight doggin'. Apparently that was their phrase that year.
I don't want to ask.
Don't ask.
No, I don't want to. I don't want to know.
The phrase straight doggin' was beneath the dog's face. The tattoo happened as a result of the part where the whole team went to the party.
Of course.
Chipped in and got this kid to get the tattoo.
At least everyone pitched in for this opportunity. It was a team effort.
Okay, but Randy, we haven't even got to the superstition
So
part.
we're not even there yet.
The superstition became to slap the tattoo for luck before the game if you were having a slump.
Oh, boy. Super. So that reminds me, because baseball is usually pretty good at these superstitions.
I feel like we've said baseball like 50 times.
Because they have a lot of superstitions. So I got one to end a slump. I got this one from a mentor of mine when I was like an observation student kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
She would get ibuprofen and rub the bat head with the pills to get rid of the headache on the bat. Because obviously they're not hitting the ball, so the bat has a headache.
Is she... I don't understand if she's trying to make a joke or...
That's the superstition right there. So if you have someone, grab some ibuprofen, rub the bat with it, or at least
Did
the
it
bat
work?
head. It worked. This is real life. It gets rid of the headache for the bat.
I thought Tylenol is your better bet for... You should tell her that.
Well, I think you can go.
Tylenol's your better bet for
you
headache
can.
reliever.
I think you could use whatever one you want to go with, whatever you have access to. I mean, yeah.
And Tylenol's
I'm not
not NSAID.
I mean, I'm not using a leave to do this. Those are the good stuff. I'm not wasting those.
So another superstition of someone who stands in one place. John H. said, opening kickoffs of both halves, I stood on my 25-yard line on my left.
Okay.
I wonder if I start in the same place every time. I don't think so.
You see, this has made me really think about, okay, well, what do I do now?
I know. Honestly, it's been so long since I've been on the field. I think it's like 7 months now. I mean,
so
actually, sorry.
So since the pandemic.
Sorry, 7 months since I've been, like...
Working.
Practicing.
Yeah, it's rough out there.
I'm just, like, practicing in theory. Just trying to keep up my... You can still work on manual therapy and stuff, but, like, trying to remember where you stand at the beginning of a game, that's, like... You don't really practice those things.
Well, we might need to now.
Oh, here's a good one. So Brian B. said, for years I had to make the Gatorade myself for pregame, but I got run over on the sideline, so I blamed it on the Gatorade. And I was like, oh my gosh, run over? And he said, yeah, dude took my legs out from underneath me. Hat went one way and glasses the other.
Oh no, I know that struggle.
But he wasn't hurt. He was just embarrassed.
Well, that's good.
I know, this is great. It didn't end up in our Injured on the Job episode.
Well, you know what? It looks like it kind of worked out in his favor because he doesn't have to make the Gatorade now.
I know, he says he hasn't been run over since.
Yeah. So, hey, it kind of worked out.
And speaking of Gatorade, I know that's what I said. I was like, I will gladly get run over once and never have to make Gatorade again. So speaking of Gatorade, Brittany said, I made Gatorade and mixed purple and orange and make it dark gray, and the athletes banned me from making Gatorade the rest of the season. She called it spooky Gatorade.
Did they just not like it?
She said that she got mixed reviews.
You see, everyone's so picky about their Gatorade. You see, that's the thing that cracks me up. The athletes aren't paying for this. We're making it out of the goodness of our hearts. And then they have the nerve to complain and go like, oh, I don't like this flavor. Oh, what happened to this flavor? Just drink your Gatorade.
I think that's it for superstitions, but we do have a few Halloween stories.
Yes!
Here's another one from Jen, actually. You want to read it?
Absolutely. So Jen says, my cross-country guys would do their Halloween practice in costume every year. There were a couple of years that they did a theme. One year was superheroes complete with an Iron Man suit and Wolverine with claws. I think that was the best.
Could you imagine running in that?
Oh, goodness. So, at the last place I was at, I can't remember if they did anything for Halloween, but on Valentine's Day, they made like a very like some kind of game that they do. I think it was they called it the Valentine's Relays. And they would all dress up in like pink and like hearts and like everything.
Really?
Yes, it was pretty fun to watch.
But you don't remember if they had it for Halloween?
I don't remember what they did for Halloween.
I feel like you'd remember if you'd seen a bunch of people in costume.
But also you have to account for the cross-country season. Halloween's getting close to the end of the season, so that's when teams are getting serious.
And costumes aren't serious. So let's finish up with a last Halloween story. Haley said, I believe it was my second fall season working at my high school, and we had a varsity football game on Halloween. It might sound daunting, but it was actually quite fun. Okay, speaking of this, I definitely thought we were going to get some full moon stories.
I mean, I could see why we did. I mean, I don't have a lot of full moons, or I don't know.
Really?
Yeah, I don't really have anything crazy that happened on a full moon.
I feel like everyone's
I feel like that's like an ER thing. Like
so many
really
injuries on full. Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Anyway,
I didn't know that.
So our sideline cheer team was awesome, and everyone paired up for duo costumes or stunt group costumes. Most flyers dressed up as something with wings, like we had Tinkerbell with her strong single base Peter Pan. That's cute.
Yeah.
Lots of festive vibes, and it was a good matchup on the field. The AT staff usually goes low-key with skeleton bracelets or socks, which I still have mine.
Oh, that's fun. I like that.
Festive, but professional. On this night, I only had one brave Sports Med 2, which is the internship student, who joined me because rain was in the forecast. Okay, rain and costumes, I feel like that's not
tough. Yeah, that is tough.
She was always a reliable one. Neither of us minded the forecast. I know Sandra dislikes working in the rain, but Randy is indifferent.
Yeah, pretty indifferent.
Ducks and beavers can agree on something, I guess.
Ooh, nice touch. Nice touch.
Anyways, 3 quarters down and only a few sprinkles, not bad. Then the whistle for the 4th quarter must have been in the Halloween spirit. Rain call or something. It poured for the remainder of the game.
Of course.
Every supporter in the stands, an extra person on the sideline disappeared. My student and I hunkered down in our rain jacket hoods and tried to get a good view. We finished unscathed and could hear fans applauding, cheering, and honking from their cars. Oh, that's fun.
That's cool.
My other half, who is at most games and super supportive. Hey.
That's right.
I didn't tell her to write that.
It was not planned for this show.
Was at the game and had the Jeep ready for us to throw everything in, jump in, and go.
Nice.
I still reminisce over that game with coaches and admin, plus with that student when she stops by to visit. Surprisingly, neither of us had had a single photo on Halloween celebrations that night. Oh, except for the shot we took together under rainy Friday night lights.
Oh, good old rain.
So speaking of costumes, actually, we did get a few people send in some athletic training costumes. And if you guys have an athletic training costume, we want to see it. So go ahead and post it in our athletic training Facebook group.
You know what? It might be a little out of place, but I do have a good story about working in Halloween costumes.
Well, you do?
I do. It just reminded me. I wasn't there for that, but one of our preceptors had another group of students, and it was like Halloween, and they were working that day when they had to respond to an emergency out on the field. So you have the preceptor who was dressed like, I feel like he was dressed up like Tom Cruise in Top Gun, and then like everyone else had like kind of low key costumes, so they looked more professional in that case. So they responded, right? So when the EMTs and like the EMS personnel got there, they thought the student, like one of the students was the certified, and they thought the actual certified was a student because he was like full blown dressed up.
That's so funny.
It was wild.
That is so funny. So anyway, we want to see your costumes, guys. So if you're not part of our AT Corner community on Facebook, head over to facebook.com/group/atcornerpodcast. And then once you answer the question about where you heard about our podcast, then you'll automatically be entered in, and then you can post your costume. We want to see them. We already got a few good ones.
Oh, I'm excited to see them. I can't wait.
I know. I'll post mine, my old one.
I'm left in the dark on this show of fun content.
What? I posted some of them to our Instagram stories. You saw some.
Oh, you're right.
I'm not keeping any costumes from you. So anyway, guys, we hope you enjoyed this episode. This was stories, and then every other episode, if you're new, we do education and stories. So this one is stories. So next episode is going to be education, which is
hydration.
Yep, we'll be talking about,
which may be important after Halloween for some people.
Yeah, you're right.
You see, that was pretty good. We didn't even mean for that to happen.
If you guys want to submit your story for an upcoming story episode, you totally can. You can email us at atcornerds@gmail.com, which the spelling is in the link below. And some of the stories that we're doing upcoming are off-the-job injuries. So this is like you're sitting at a diner and someone passes out, which we'll tell our story about.
Oh, I got some.
So anytime you have to be an athletic trainer when you're not working with your team, we want to hear about it.
You're always an athletic trainer somehow.
Or I guess
somehow.
I guess we could also, if we want to branch it out, we can also talk about like people in the stands. Like,
oh yeah, that's true.
Responding to people in the stands.
Injuries of people you didn't expect you were going to be treating that day.
Exactly. We also want to do one on emergency situations. So this is going to be like any stories you have that we just want to talk about emergencies. So like,
yeah, just your experience, what you've had to handle. Like if there's anything that sticks out.
Obviously, take out any patient identifiers. We want to hear some case studies that you've had. And then also, this will be a fun one. Anything we're talking about first time as a certified. So this will be like someone sent in something that was talking about like she got to go to a really cool stadium, or like basically like anything that you did first, like when you were first certified.
I feel like there's going to be a lot of I was panicked the entire time.
Yeah, we want to hear your story. So like I have a few that are emergency scenarios when I was first certified. So we'll be talking about those. Anyway, do you have anything else to add, Randy?
Nope, that's perfect. Thank you for helping us showcase athletic training behind the tape. Boo! Get it? Because it's the spooky episode?